Welcome to the Sacred Nurse podcast, broadcasting from WinCam in Winchester, Mass. I'm Michelle Moscone, a retired registered nurse with a lifelong devotion to caring for others. Yet it wasn't until I embarked on my own healing journey that I truly discovered the sacred path of whole person care. The first half of my career unfolded in the medical ICU of a major Boston hospital, where I stood daily at the crossroads of life, death, and crisis. But over time, the cost of that disconnection became deeply personal. After years of unprocessed trauma and environmental exposure, my body began to shut down. At the time, it felt like a collapse, but in hindsight, it was a sacred threshold, a doorway into transformation. The traditional nursing role no longer served me, but something deeper within me stirred awake. I began exploring a different model of healing, one rooted in energy, emotion, presence, and spiritual awareness, emerging with a renewed understanding of what it truly means to heal. My journey echoed the myth of Pluto and Persephone. Like Persephone, I descended into darkness and returned with wisdom. I reclaimed my voice, my path, and my soul. This podcast is a safe space for those stories. Each episode is a conversation with someone who has walked through their own underworld and emerged transformed. Like Persephone, you are not just a survivor, you are your own queen. Welcome to Pluto Pathology, where healing begins in the depths. For more information, go to my website, sacrednurse.com. Hello, welcome to Sacred Nurse Podcast, From Wounds to Wisdom. I'm Michelle Moscone, and my guest today is Wendy Ross. And we actually went to high school together and lost touch afterwards and reconnected at one of our high school reunions. I won't say which one it was. We reconnected at our high school reunion, and we were talking about energy work. And Wendy has a fabulous story to tell, and I'm honored for you to be here. It will help a lot of women because her story is more on a medical side, medical and spirituality also, but she's got a medical story that will help other women. So, and when we discussed earlier how we would do this, so she's going to start with what happened just a few years ago.
Right. But first I want to say thank you for inviting me to your podcast.
You're welcome.
It's an honor to be here. I think the work you do is fabulous. Your healing work was tremendous and helped me so much during this 4-year journey that I've been on. Mm-hmm. And also we met each other because we heard each other talking about certain things at our reunion.
I remember that.
And then I kind of trailed behind you.
I know. I turned around and you were there.
Spiritual journey.
Yeah.
And though neither one of us had black hair anymore,
yeah,
we still knew who the other one was.
Exactly. Right. Right.
Long black hair. All right. So where do I start? I think I had some hip problems, and I was planning on getting some things done, and I went to my GYN for a general checkup and the pap smear you get on your health insurance. And I said, I'm feeling a little funny, things don't feel right, there's this and this, and some things were happening. And so she gave me the checkup, and she said, oh, you're fine, you're old, so everything's going to hurt, just get used to it. And I thought, oh God, poor me, I'm old, and I'm cranky, and I've got pain, so I'm old. And then I went to get the x-ray for my hip, and they called me and said that even though it's not their place, they have to tell me that there's a mass in the middle of my abdomen that's tubular, and it needs to be looked at. And they're not allowed to say they know what it is, right, or they don't know what it is.
They can't diagnose.
They said you have to go and show this to your GYN. So I sent them the picture, and I sent them the lab report, and they just didn't answer me at all. And when I called up, they blew me off. And I was like, well, that's kind of weird. And they said, well, we don't want to take your case, and we want to do other things, and nothing's wrong with you. And I said, did you look at the x-ray? Oh, we couldn't see it. It was too small. Okay. So I called my insurance company and asked for a new OBGYN, and they gave me one that's also a radiologist. And I walked in, and I hear her from the back say, did she bring a picture? And I held it up. She walks in the room. She took a look at it, and she said, you need an OBGYN oncologist immediately. She sent me next door to the hospital for all sorts of tests, and the one of the tests was a CA-125, which is a cancer marker for ovarian cancer, and the CA-119, which is for a bunch of other cancers.
Now, just to introduce, so this was after you had your hip replaced, right?
After I had the hip replaced, I was
this was the follow-up for the...
I was fine with the hip,
triple
and then
lung.
I thought, I better take a look into this. So I went back to GYN, she blew me off, and then I found this other GYN who, emergency. So I'm not sure what the numbers are, but your CA-125, the analysis should be between a 0 and 35 or 36 or something, and that's a safe zone. I was 585, so that's not a safe zone.
Right, alarming.
So they hooked me up with Tufts Medical Program instead of the other cancer centers. They said, this is the best one, literally the best one. I know all the others specialized. This is the best. The doctor that I went to there was Dr. Rafael Gonzalez, and I'm telling you, he was amazing. Now, by the time I got into surgery, my CA-125 was 585, and that was 2 weeks later. So whatever was happening
Rapid.
quickly. Now, normally when they do that operation, they kind of cut you open from stem to stern, and I couldn't fathom that at all. So I expressed to him my concern, and he said, there's another way. We did everything laparoscopically, spell that word, and then I had a little bikini cut down at the bottom to take my uterus out. They took everything out, they flushed the area, he did everything possible you could do to check, to make sure there was nothing else happening, took samples of the lymph nodes, everything else, came back clean. Everything was perfect. So I went on like that for a while, for a few months, and every 3 months I was taking the CA-125. And then I didn't notice it myself, but everyone else started to notice that my speech pattern had dropped. I wasn't articulating well. I wasn't making any sense. My eyes were going back and forth really quickly. I was on a trip. I lost my passport. I lost my wallet. I couldn't figure out how to get around the airport. Something was wrong, and I came home.
But what was the time span? Was a few years, right?
That
Because
was
after
over
the surgery, you had like chemo and radiation.
Oh, I forgot about that
That's
part.
okay.
Yeah.
And then that resolved.
Yes.
The chemo and radiation kept it at bay.
It came down. I had a CA-125 of 28.
Nice.
Which is good. So I had chemo for 5 months, which is the carboplaxin, taxaplaxin. I had 2 of them, and it was very hard on the body, and we can talk about that later. And then I had no radiation at that point. Everything was fine. It was magical. I ran around. I went to Puerto Rico. I went waterfall climbing.
I
was
remember.
mountain climbing. I was hiking.
Cover girl in Jamaica.
I was the cover girl on their magazine in Jamaica.
Yeah.
I was like, I beat it. And all of a sudden, I'm foggy. I have brain fog. I can't articulate well. No one could understand anything I wrote or said. It looked fine to me. And then, laugh but don't laugh, I was on the toilet and I couldn't get up at all. And I had to get on the floor and crawl to get in my bed. And I have a flatmate, and she saw me. She got hysterical. And I had a doctor's appointment the next day, and she dragged me to it. And he didn't waste a second. He just looked at me and went, you need an MRI right now. Something's wrong. Sure enough, they find out, they did a full body. And they find out that I've got these metastasized ovarian cancer had gone to my brain. What a shock that was when you're feeling fine and you're out there climbing and you're doing everything you thought you could do before, except no Kilimanjaro. And now I've got brain cancer. So, and I was kind of like messed up in the head, so I was rude to all the doctors.
Yeah.
And they forgave me. And thankfully.
Of course, yes. It's not your fault.
That's kind of what they said.
Yeah.
You were out of your mind. Well, that makes it worse.
Yeah.
So they did this cranial surgery where they cut my head open from, I still have like the continental drift going there, here to just above my ear, and I have a way of describing it so even my friends could understand, where they cut out a section of cantaloupe, they pull it out and they scoop out the ice cream, and then they put your cantaloupe section back and stitch your head up. So I had 35 stitches in my head, and I looked like Frankenstein.
And your eye.
Oh yes, the cancer in my head had grown so much. It was pushing my right eye out of its socket. And I said, I kept having pain. I kept going to the eye doctor. What's wrong with my eye? No, you're fine. Need new glasses. So I got 3 pair of new glasses. It didn't change anything. I still had eye pain. Meanwhile, the surgery, everything went back sort of in its place. And my eye pain stopped. And there was a longer recovery period this time because my arms and legs didn't work as well, and my speech pattern was off, and it took a while. I was in rehab for about seven days, I think, and I wasn't going to let that get me down. I was up, and I was on a neuro ward, which, by the way, they keep them locked because the hospital had dementia patients that would wander through the floors.
Yes, the story. Yeah.
Yes. And when I was in the hospital at Kroger, I was in their ward at Kroger, and that was also a neuro ward. And there were people walking around. One guy came in my room in the middle of the night and demanded that I change his Johnny and kept calling me Janet and screaming at me until finally I started screaming and the nurses came running in, but I got saved. But even so, in rehab, you're on a neuro ward. And I was determined, all the other people that came in with similar operations, I was going to walk faster than anyone. I was out of there. So they gave me the walker, and I was like Speed Racer, racing down the hallway, and they had to, like, hold on to me. Slow down. I'm getting out of here. So I'm not going down.
Right. I'm not this illness.
I am not this illness. And I think that's a thing you have to think about when you're with other people who have similar illnesses and they're not making as much progress. They've lost that drive and they've lost that will. And I thought, I don't care how old I am. I'm not going down. Right. I'm not ready. I've got a few more hills to climb, maybe small ones. So,
but you still got things to do.
I have things to do, right? And that's basically what happened. And I was good. My CA 125 went to 28, which is promising. And then I went on for a few more months. Everything looked fine. And I don't know the time span, but I went in for my 3 or 6 months. Oh, my 3-month scan, everything was perfect. My 6-month scan, they noticed I had some regrowth. So I had to do a somewhat new procedure called a gamma knife, which is, I'm sorry I'm talking so much. But
no, it's...
Okay, I had to do this procedure.
It's a good story to hear.
Okay. Called the gamma knife, where you go into sort of this headgear, and they hammer it into your skull, basically, or your head, and it's a heavy mounting, and you walk around for a few hours till they're ready for you. Take an MRI to know exactly where it is, and they zero in on the exact location of the new growth. And it's much more precise than radiation or any other system that they have. And also there's new things that are coming out, so we can talk about that too, even though I don't know their names. But so they zeroed in and they got the regrowth as best they could without touching any brain matter. Right. And 2 days later, I was fine. I said, I'm buying new hiking shoes. I'm hiking. And I've been feeling very good since that. Now, with the gamma knife, you may have to go more than once, but you can go as many times as you need to, and it's not going to affect you as much as chemo has a terrible effect on your body, and radiation does also. Yes. I'm still growing back hair from a year and a half
and it's
ago.
coming beautifully, too, I must say.
Thank you so much. I have 7 wigs if anybody needs wigs. Yeah. I have all different kinds, different colors, and different lengths. I'm willing to give them away. That's basically the story. And here we are today, a few months or a month and a half after the gamma knife, and I feel great.
I know, and you look good, and you've done a lot, too. You know, like you said, like it's not going to get you down. And so what got you through it? Like, what was the biggest help? Like, were there books that you read or people that you saw? Because didn't you went through a Reiki training also, didn't you?
I went through Reiki 1 and 2, and then I went for my Reiki master, and we've discussed that. I also went to you for healing, for the Reiki healing at times, which was tremendous for my spirit and for my body. And I also I tried to investigate it as much as possible from why it happens, because I thought, oh, you have ovarian cancer, they take it out and you're fine. I didn't think anything else would happen. And I'd even read books, Jane McClellan's book, Starving Cancer. I read all that, and all those things that people are taking, the menbendazole, fenbendazole, and ivermectin, that's poisons for your body. Do they work? Do they cure it? Doubt it. But there are things you can do to help your immune system take care of you. And that's what I've learned so far. Now,
and you went on a strict diet, didn't you? Because I remember you with the supplements and the nutrients, and you were very strict with your diet.
People ask me
which
how
I
many,
think is a big deal.
That's a big deal.
Yes.
So certain kinds of food, you have to be careful what you eat. Apples especially, all that stuff has to be washed off because they're sprayed tremendously. And I think a lot of the illness that's happening today, now that I've been reading so much, is because of all the stuff they put in our food. And you don't see this in Europe. So I went on this intense learning experience where I read everything I possibly could. I probably understood about 20% of it. The medical terms threw me. I had to look them up and think about them and learn them. And then I changed my diet slowly. And people ask me how many supplements I take now. I take between 17 and 21 different supplements.
A day?
A day, yeah. And so I can't really name them all off right now, but berberine was what helped me through the chemo, and Claritin, an antihistamine, helped me with my leg pain. You get tremendous leg pain during chemo, and your system is very upset, and they give you narcotics to try and help you. And after a day or two of taking those, you get psychotic, and you have nightmares and visions, and strange things happen. I went, I don't want to, and you're immediately addicted. I know you think, oh, I'm not that type.
Right,
but after 3 days, if you don't take it, you're like, where is it?
Yeah.
I need it. And then I thought, I don't want to be that person, out on the street with cancer begging for drugs. Not me, not going there. So I stopped that, and I looked seriously, investigated. What can I take besides this? How can I do that? And I got berberine and Claritin, and honest to God, it saved me without having to knock myself out. The berberine is sort of an all-over helping effect. It's a plant. And
so how many days post-op brain surgery were you off narcotics?
Well, they tried to make me take the narcotics during the brain surgery, and I didn't have that much
afterwards,
pain. So 2 days is all I took them, and then I said, I'm only going to take acetaminophen. That's it. No more pain meds. And I did.
That's impressive.
And that was it.
Because, I mean, they cut your skull, and they pull you know what I mean? Like, to get to your brain.
I had to do a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Pull your
so it's very,
skin aside.
I mean, the thought of it it's so painful.
They cut a chunk of brain out. They chunk of skull out.
Yeah.
It's like the thought of it is.
I know, I mean.
So that's painful, by the way, when you're healing.
But for you to not need narcotics after a couple of days after going through that.
I said acetaminophen and
the Tylenol.
And they gave it to me every 4 to 6 hours. And sometimes I'd call up and go, maybe we could just go a little early today.
Yeah.
Because it was really painful. We don't remember it now.
Right.
I don't remember it now, but I do remember it then, how sometimes I'd sit there and be in a lot of pain. I'd ask for ice packs. And numbing it helped a lot. Cold helped with everything. And that was it. But it was a long recovery process. I was very slow with everything for a very long time. Even at this age, it's extremely frustrating. I mean, we move around fast all day long. We're running in the closet, we're grabbing things, we're cooking dinner with one hand, talking on the phone with the other. Now I'm like, I have to flush the toilet. Can't bend over.
Yeah.
No, open the oven. Not my time to open my bend down and put stuff in the dishwasher. Bring in a chair. I'll sit down and I'll load the dishwasher. It's awful. It's humiliating.
Yeah, but at least you know your limits and the boundaries. You're not trying to push them. Because I know people who have, they've had illnesses and, they push it. They push the boundary and they fall, because they won't accept it. But the whole thing is accepting it. and knowing where you are right now, and you're doing everything you can to help yourself.
I call it my preemptive preparation. I live in a regular apartment, so I got these handles that vacuum stick to the wall, because you're out of balance. Even with just the ovarian surgery, I was out of balance, and so I need things to grip onto. And sometimes you'll just be standing still, and you feel like you're going over.
Yeah.
So you have to really preempt everything. You walk with the walker. I did that for a very long time. Then I had the cane, and then one day I said, enough with the cane, and I just surfed off the walls and went slowly. And now, no cane, no walls.
And you can drive again.
Yes.
That must have been liberating.
Really,
being able to drive again.
6 months in Massachusetts, you're not allowed to drive. And if I'd had a Massachusetts license, they would have taken it away from me. And then you have to go back to driving school and get certified.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But because my license is still out of state, I'm a scofflaw, they couldn't touch me.
Okay.
And so as soon as to the day it was over, I was back in that car. I'm going to the store by myself.
Yeah, get your independence back.
Really?
Yeah.
I put my pants on by myself.
Yeah.
Was a big job.
Yeah.
But that's what I said. I'm going to go to the store by myself today.
It's an accomplishment. I know, and you just small, attainable goals.
Little goals,
You
and
know,
that's what
like
I
putting
gave
your shoes
myself.
on. You achieved your goal for the day, so you're a success.
Thank you. It's slow, and I have to be prepared for a lot of different things that may happen in the future. So you have to be ready. And the question becomes, can I do this? Yes. How many times can I do this? There comes a point where you're going to be tired of it all, and you're going to let go.
Of all the surgeries, you mean?
Everything.
Of what's coming?
Yeah, everything. But I'm not ready, and I'm not there yet. And so I thought, well, again, you come out with your issue and you've beaten it for a few years. I thought I'd beaten it, and then all of a sudden something else happens. And if you read this book, Starving Cancer by Jane McClellan, you see she had breast cancer, then it went to her lungs, then it went somewhere else. She went through 4, and her lung cancer was stage 4. She went through 4 times with cancer and finally beat it. So you can.
Yes,
you can
absolutely.
beat it.
Yes.
And my cancer is very rare that it would go to your brain. Usually, if it's going to metastasize, so I've read, it goes to your lungs, and that they can take out fast. It's not like you have to learn to speak and walk again.
Right. But I know, but it's been quite a journey. And then, so how do you see, like, moving forward? What do you think?
Well,
how's that going for you?
Well, I'm almost up to getting my next scan, so I'm praying that my numbers are low and the scans are clear or pretty clear. Because if I have to do the GIM, I'm mentally prepared to do that. And I actually make fun of myself in the headgear, like Frankenstein is here.
Yeah.
So, but I've also started to talk online and on Zoom with other women who have had my kind of cancer and some with breast cancer who've made it through to a certain point, and their fears, their hope, their trials, the things they've researched, what they're doing. Some people are oblivious. Oh, my doctor said this. What does that mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you need to look a little more into it, or let's talk about it and explore what that really means. And so I've recorded all of them, and I've written down some information for people. Eventually, my journal will turn into something, hopefully. It'll be 10 stories, 10 women, and then a list of vitamins and supplements you can take. And what you can't take while you're doing chemo is B vitamins, because they promote cell growth, and you're trying to stop cell growth.
Right.
Interesting, right?
So, yes, and you're like, and right from, like, because you've done all the research and you know what works and what worked for you.
Certain vitamins you can't take, because literally chemo has to almost kill you to make you better.
I know.
And there's also the school of thought that, is it really doing all that much? And then rebuilding your immune system is a big job.
Right.
Getting your blood to build back up afterward is a huge job. And And I just have certain kinds of supplements that you wouldn't even think. Alpha lipoic acid, astaxanthin. It's more stronger than vitamin C. It's like a better multivitamin. I have NMN. I have berberine. I forget the rest, but I've got. Every time I go to the doctor, they go, medicines you're taking? And I go, it's in there. It's in the computer.
Yeah.
Now I have to add
No
a few.
change.
Yeah, I have to add a couple more because I've been reading more articles in more depth, and I have more understanding as time goes by, even though it's not easy to digest all of this without any kind of medical background.
Right. Now, do you have access to your doctor or your nurse at any time? Can you
Yes.
call her and check in and say, look, what do you think about this med I just read about?
Well, I was adamant the first time I was in the hospital and when I went through chemo that they download these homeopathic apps that talked about homeopathic things you could take, vitamins, herbs, teas, green tea, of course, that will help alleviate some of the symptoms you get or the repercussions from chemo. And so whenever I mention something, they go, hold on, let me get my app. And I was so proud of my team because they were open to holistic and naturopathic solutions as well as allopathic solutions. And so even when I come in, they said, I asked people on when they did the Gamma Knife, I said, do people come in with all sorts of naturopathic things that they're doing and remedies? Oh, yeah. A lot of people come in. I said, any ivermectin people or, oh, yeah, those people too.
Yeah.
Methylene blue is now the new trend.
Oh.
So you're going to get a blue tongue. I'm not ready for any of that. I would much prefer if I have to go any further and I can't make it go in remission, that I'm going to go for some kind of clinical.
So you're open to whatever
I'm open.
they could,
Yeah. And honestly, I read a lot about it, but there are things that I just don't understand. I digest as much as I can.
Well, it can be so overwhelming.
It is.
Every time you read one thing, then you have to follow up reading something else because there might be a word you don't understand.
Many.
You have to look that up, and it's endless.
Or I have to read a process. Like if they tell me that people are doing this now and these are the substances they take, I have to look every one of them up. And I have to see what's that made of. Because people are saying now they take this Burbisol or something sol, and it's a dropper. I looked up what's in there. It's bromelain. Now, why can't I make my own bromelain, pineapple, grapefruit kind of mix? If that's what's helping clear out like your arteries and repair your inside systems, because chemo does a lot of damage.
It does.
And you have to repair everything. And at this age, repairing is slow. You know, we're not a brand new car off the mark.
Right.
We've got
A little hot rod.
Yeah. We got to replace the tires. We've got to change the engine oil, the belts, and the fans. So I'm into repair as well as healing. And I write everything down, and then I try to figure out what goes with what and how can I put it together. And also look for people who are nutritionists and naturopaths and allopathic doctors who are studying all of this and have answers. Not answers like, oh, you're cured, but answers of how to move forward and keep yourself on a healing, I guess they call it modalities, in a healing modality rather than just going day by day, going, you know.
Right, you consciously work helping yourself.
And I get up in the morning and I take my slurry of pills, and then I go to bed at night with another slurry of pills. Some of them taste good.
Yeah.
I do black seed oil. I do pine. I do that pine oil tincture. I do every mushroom available, not the psychedelic ones, but cordyceps, turkey tail's my big one. Just
What's
this
the other, lion's mane? Is that
lion's
one?
mane, especially lion's mane. I have a 5-pack, and I have a extra turkey tail, and I take whatever their recommended dosage is. So they don't taste that great, but
Well, it does the
doing
trick. It's like taking
Shilajit,
medicine. You
Yeah,
know?
I don't take the goo. Shilajit comes out like tar, so I take a pill form,
Mm-hmm.
which is easier than slamming that tar down your throat.
See, and you're keeping all this documented, so I bet you will have a book out of all this.
It's all documented.
You know, it's all documented.
Journaled.
Mm-hmm.
How many days you feel good, how many days you don't, what to expect when you're in recovery, because not every day is a good day.
Yeah. What would the name of the book be? Have you decided yet?
I don't know. I'm going to count the days it takes me to go on the journey. Name it that.
Yeah.
10,000 days.
10,000 days.
So, I'm not sure, but I'd have to think of one that
You'll come up with something clever.
Let
I'm
peop-
sure. Yeah, to let
let-
people know.
this is a book that gives you some info. The 10 stories, it might be 10 stories or something like that, of women in different types of cancer, in different stages, with different metastases. Now that I know
And
that
different
that can
treatment.
happen,
Yeah.
and different treatment levels. And then at the end, what I've also put together is centers that treat these types of illnesses: holistic, international, natural, naturopathic, and then my doctor, of course, who's a god.
Yes, I met him. He was so nice.
He was wonderful.
He's very nice.
And that's it. And so somehow, I'm sure with your help, it'll all compile into something
Yes.
that's understandable.
Right.
And
It'll be like all of a sudden it'll come together. After all this work you've done and with everything you've been through, you'll just have that, this is it.
yeah,
I've done it.
This is it.
Yeah.
Definitely. But also with the brain cancer, I was so sick that when I got out of the hospital 12 or 15 days later, I really thought I was going to die in a couple of weeks. So I gave away a lot of stuff, everything, almost everything. I said to my nieces, come on over and get everything out of here. I don't want any clutter when I'm gone. And then I lived.
And they got all the good stuff.
They got all the good stuff. I was like, can I ask for this back? They're like, no.
Yeah. Oh, God.
And that's basically it. Still on the journey, still hoping for the best, you know, still trying to work in the spiritual realm as well, you know, reading a lot of books as much as I can. But I think I've also learned a lot about myself and how a lot of the healing comes from you. Not that you can cure yourself, so anybody who really says that, I don't believe that. But you can change your mentality.
Yes.
And you can, if you're a person that says, oh, people take advantage of me and I'm always getting this and that. If you can switch that thinking.
Exactly.
Like when I got that check back, did I tell you this story earlier?
What we were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
From work, yeah.
From work, they weren't going to pay me.
Like victorious. You were, you know.
They were just waiting for me to die, so they didn't have to pay me. And then I just said,
you showed them.
The money is owed to me, you have to pay.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they sent the check. I thought, that's what it takes. It takes turning around how you view yourself.
Yes.
And not getting panic-stricken or upset or being victimized by your illness, by society, by other people. And not screaming or doing anything crazy, but being able to research what you need to know before you speak and standing your ground.
Right. And staying in control as
staying
best
in
you
control.
can. Because you're right. It's like, because form follows thought. So, you know, your thoughts can become your reality. And also, like your story, I think it was Carolyn Mace. I've mentioned this before on other podcasts, but I love her book, Why People Don't Heal and How They Can. I think you've read that.
Yes.
Or
I've gone to dinner with her several times.
Yes.
So
You know her.
she comes
That's
to Las Vegas to the jewelry show and buys stuff.
I love it. Yeah. But I love what she said about how your biography becomes your biology, your story becomes your illness. So like you said, you know, you're not a victim, you're victorious.
Yeah,
You've merged.
If you have all this help, you know, naturopath, allopath, what you've read, things you've learned, because some information is a little weird and you have to research it to make sure it's right. If you change your story internally, you can really help yourself heal. You can help all the things you're using to help yourself heal.
Right.
And that is directly from Carolyn Mace. I don't think these things up. I'm using other people's
I know.
words.
Well, they have the experience, and then what about like a god or spirit? Do you have like a strong relationship with any spiritual beings? Like, for me, it's Jesus. And it's just as a healer. He's like one of my guides.
Right.
So is there anyone you go to in particular?
I don't know if I have any particular guides. Like, I have this guide that is a unknown guide that has a Gemini spirit, because I'm a Gemini, so I hooked onto that right away. But really, a little sound.
You're a Gemini?
I'm a Gemini.
I thought you were a Taurus.
I can act like one.
Okay, after all these years.
I know. Who knew?
Okay.
I kept it a secret.
Okay,
I took the
yeah.
0 off the end of my May 3rd. Oh, yeah, May 30th. So I try to do sound bath, which we love sound bath. I do a lot of breathing. Exercise helps a lot. While you're doing an exercise you don't have to think about, you can meditate a little bit. And
a moving meditation.
relax yourself. I'm very high strung, as you probably can know by now. And I try to relax, which is very, very difficult for me. And so sometimes I just stop, and I'm grateful for not everything that's happened, but how I've been able to get past a lot of that. And I see myself in the past as a certain kind of person, businesswoman, gung-ho, really cutting that path. And then I got sick, and now I'm sensitive to everybody's needs, and I'm understanding of other things. I'm much more patient, which I'm going to give that up soon. And I don't need
You are
that.
patient, I must say, especially on the internet, looking things up.
Yes,
I'm like, forget it, I can't figure this.
I know most people, or they get stuck.
I
to
don't
yell.
need this. Yeah.
Yeah. I go, let's put it down for a while. So, no, I'm patient with a lot of things. And then even if there's chaos all around me, I think, what could be worse?
Yeah.
This is nothing. So I think that it's taught me a lesson.
Yeah. I know when you're like a different person now, you're in a much better place.
Yes, and my communication with people who may have not been nice to me at one point is totally different now. I'm not angry anymore.
Yeah.
I don't have time for that.
Right.
And I don't want to put a negative into my system.
Right.
Even though I watch horrible news and I'm a doom scroller on the internet, and I watch movies where people kill each other all the time, I think I'm immune to it.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, Wendy, thank you so much.
Oh my
for
God,
sharing
I've
your
talked the
story.
entire time.
That was the idea. It's your it's your thing. So
All right.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for listening.
Of course. And
or my rapt audience.
yeah. No, and thank you. So Sacred Nurse signing off. Thank you for joining us today from Wounds to Wisdom with Wendy Ross.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Stay well.
For more information, go to my website, sacrednurse.com.
I'll be with you soon. Oh, everything's gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be fine. It'll all turn out right. It'll all, it's all gonna